All right, I think, yeah, you should be able to hear me now. Sorry. I knew there was something wrong because I couldn't see my green lights coming on. All right, should be able to hear me now. Lovely. Well, welcome to the podcast, everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. Literally, as I was signing off of my last podcast, Meghan posted some pictures. And what lovely pictures they were. And you know, when it all comes down to it, regardless of whatever nonsense games the press and Charles and William and Camilla and Kate want to play, this is what Harry wants for his kids. For them to be able to know their home country and their family. And I'm so glad that the Spencers are sensible and trustworthy people. We haven't heard anything about their time at the Spencers. I had almost even begun to believe they didn't even go because we didn't see pictures. There was no leaks, nothing. And every time Meghan posts pictures, the ridiculous narratives that the tabloids want to come up with get destroyed. But of course, the palace has a direct line. Some have said headlines, and it would appear that some calls were made to the Daily Mail, but we will get into all of that. First and foremost, let's just enjoy the pictures from the Sussex family vacay. So, it would appear that they did indeed go to the Spencer estate. I also feel like for the Spencers, they've harbored quite a lot of guilt over the years. You know, I think Diana did try to seek refuge at the Spencer estate, but just the amount of the way the press behaved, the way just everything at the time, I think was a lot even for them. So I think this is also just it's nice to see that they've welcomed Harry, welcomed his wife and their children, and Diana can't be here to enjoy this moment, but I think this is like a um like a nice almost like giving back in a way that they couldn't give to Diana at the time for whatever reasons, whether it was family dispute, the tabloids, the royal institution. I mean, it was a vicious time. And it would appear in the picture where Meghan is with the little doggy there that Charles Spencer, and I think that's his partner, is in the background. A very a watchful squaddy picked that up. Daddy throwing Lily in the pool. Them just enjoying themselves, laughing, having some wine. One sec, folks. And then we also had these pictures. Archie getting very tall. Them on the beach and also in the pilot's cockpit. It looks like they probably flew private, which on this occasion wouldn't surprise me because they needed to get in to mainland Europe and in the UK as quietly as possible, and they're traveling with the kids. And the Daily Mail and the tabloids are still in a tizzy over how they managed to see Charles and go to Spencer Estate not seen. And there was no need for them to be seen. And the crummy tabloids were the only ones who were desperate. Oh, and the haters, of course. One of them couldn't help themselves. Now, I don't typically like to highlight the haters too much, but every so often they make such a fool of themselves. So this Royal News Network, the girl that runs this, we call her Gums because she's got giant gums. She's also met Kate Middleton, by the way. So she posted, as ever, Meghan Markle takes what should be a solemn and private moment and exploits it for clicks and money. It's so incredibly disgusting, and I can't help but imagine Prince William would be incensed. It's like, why is Prince William just being inserted into this? Like, they have to insert the others every single time. There's nothing wrong with them visiting Diana's grave, but why did she have to disrespect Harry and her children by posting about it? The pictures in question she's talking about are the ones where you can see here Archie and Lily in this green area. Diana's grave is on a private island, and I certainly do not think Meghan would post those pictures. I don't believe this is the private island that Diana's grave is on, where they're surrounded by the green. And there's no way Meghan would post those pictures. What is she talking about? So now we're just making up lies. Straight up just making up lies. It's like when Meghan was in Paris and they said that she had her feet up and they went past the tunnel. The tunnel that hundreds of people go past every single day. And it was nowhere near that, by the way. The absolute insanity of just coming up with all sorts of weird narratives. Desperation. Anyway, I'm so glad that they got to have time with the Spencers. They deserved it. Now, over at the Daily Fail got a phone call. Sorry, I actually don't have the pictures on my screen, but I will read out the before and after headlines. So, when the Daily Fail first posted about these pictures, the first headline was Meghan Markle shares sweet snap of Prince Harry and their children Archie and Lilibet enjoying summer holidays, including visit to Princess Diana's childhood home. Obviously, somebody at the palace called the Daily Fail, and the headline was then changed to Meghan and Harry share snaps of their European summer holiday as pro-Sussex People magazine reveals they stayed at Princess Diana's childhood home with Archie and Lily. So note that pro-Sussex People magazine. They just have to find a way of adding a little dig there every single time. So this from Feminagra. When Meghan Sussex shared a collection of family summer photos on Instagram, she did what millions of people do every day, post images of her children. Mind you, we can't see their faces and we never have. Well, not for a while anyway. Last time we saw their faces, they were nearer to toddler age. Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, her husband Prince Harry, and their holiday moments, it was a simple act. The reaction from parts of the British press, however, was anything but simple. What should have been a straightforward story about a mother sharing family memories became an exercise in forensic analysis, conspiracy theorizing, and manufactured outrage. The Times posted, yet the contrast between what the Sussexes say and the wonderful life they live is bizarre. They must get whiplash. To recap, Harry has been spewing venom in all directions all summer. His security provision, the British legal system in general, one High Court judge in particular, the palace, the press, everything is awful and out to get him, and it makes him furious. Meghan, meanwhile, has been complaining bitterly about how humiliating it is to not be met at Heathrow by the state trumpeteers or something. You know, outlets like the Times posting this type of sarcastic article. It's like we've been saying for a while. The venom that they spew at Harry and Meghan isn't making anybody like the other royals more. They're actually taking attention away from the other royals every time they write like this. Every time they want to write these type of sarcastic articles. As if As if Harry and Meghan can't be incredibly happy and also have relevant complaints about relevant things. So trying to paint Harry and Meghan as miserable or contradictory, I mean, it's just old at this point. You know, these pictures show a family at ease, despite everything going on around them. Because what do you want them to post? You want them, it's like that Maya Angelou poem. They want to see you down and out. Still you rise. Now, definitely those images were on the Althorp's grounds, but I don't believe that was the island where Diana's burial site is. I don't think I've ever, even when Mandela came, I don't think pictures were taken on the island. I think they were taken as they were walking towards it. It's like the British tabloids have this stubborn, or it's not, it's like they have this stubborn refusal to accept the happiness that the Sussex family have, despite everything that they're thrown at this family, even at the kids while they were in the womb. You can't even report on a family holiday without turning it into a conspiracy. Weird ass behavior. Yeah, I'm so glad that Meghan didn't let them see a damn thing. Gave them dust. The way they behaved gave them dust. Because that would have been a lot of money for the tabloids. Does Diana's private island have a beach on it? I doubt it. Hi everyone, if you just enter in the chat, please hit that thumbs up button. Mina, you said these fools are just mad and throwing a temper tantrum because they could use and spin the narrative of what the Sussexes did, and Meghan posted on her page. Indeed. And People magazine isn't really pro Sussex. I would say they're more middle of the fence type. Yeah, they do get stuff from the Sussex spokespeople, but doesn't mean they haven't had critical stuff in their magazine, and they also post a lot of pro other royal stuff as well. It's just not written in the permanently bitter tone as the British tabloids. So they want to call it pro Sussex. You know, anything short of hostility towards Harry and Meghan looks like propaganda to them. And a privately funded family holiday is not a national security matter anyway. The bigger question is why the British media is treating a privately funded family holiday like a national security matter. The problem is when they come to the UK, there is a relevant threat that needs to be addressed. And the Welleses share family photos all the time. You know, anyone familiar with Althorp or Charles Spencer's public grounds could recognize parts of the estate, which is open to the public for a large part of the year. Yeah, and the hypocrisy whenever Diana's involved. William is allowed to use Diana's memory in public ways and is treated as emotional and dignified and statesmanlike. When Harry honors his mother, visits her grave, or defends her legacy, and suddenly the press asks, oh, why is he exploiting her? We can see through it. Wendy, you said they are mad. Meghan refused to do public appearances with the children. Access denied. Yeah, and I mean, this was about Invictus 1 year to go. And Harry, checking in on some of his other charities as well. There wasn't really a need to show the children. If they wanted to bring the children out, they could have. But with everything that they've thrown at this family, no. Protect your children. All they had to do from the very beginning was be nice to Meghan. Now they're going to get left out in the cold. They get nothing. Yeah, this is another thing. The royals don't want Meghan and those kids linked to Diana. Because they have been trying to just erase Diana's memory entirely. Diana's memory is still more powerful than all of them. I don't even think the Queen comes close. In fact, I will go as far as to say Diana's memory will be more impactful and have more of a legacy even than Queen Elizabeth II. I would say that Diana, no longer alive, is more relevant than the other leftover royals. I see people making funny TikToks and, Diana related content all the time. I think there's actually one TikToker. His whole thing is he does like a funny caricature of Princess Diana. Let's see. Can you see the beautiful flowers Harry and Archie had? I still believe that Meghan made them. Yeah, and Lewis, Harry's entitled to visit his mother's grave anytime that he wants. What type of nonsense is this? Yeah, they destroyed Diana, but they want to own her narrative and her legacy. Absolutely not. All right. Fergie, who is desperately trying to avoid detection and perhaps trying to avoid coming back to the UK. At least that's our work in theory. She may have been spotted at her ex-boyfriend who's just passed away, Swiss chalet. So Sarah has been undercover and seemingly on the run all year. Bonnie without her Clyde. Bonnie without her Clyde, Prince Andrew. In April, The Sun got photos of her in Austria. But I still say that she probably left that country soon after the photos were published. Well, People magazine got an update from someone in Sarah's camp. Sarah Ferguson is continuing to keep a low profile as she weighs up her next steps amid renewed scrutiny over her past links to Jeffrey Epstein. The former Duchess of York, 66, has largely stayed out of the public eye throughout 2026 and has not been photographed since a newspaper captured her in the Austrian mountains in April. As she remains out of the spotlight, Ferguson is also preparing for a family milestone. Her daughter, Princess Eugenie, 36, is expecting her third child this summer. Sarah is keeping a low profile. She's staying in contact with her daughters and is awaiting the news of Eugenie's baby, a friend tells People exclusively. It's understood Ferguson remains abroad and has yet to return to the UK as the investigation into her ex-husband, the former Prince Andrew, 66, continues following his arrest in February. After she and Andrew were told they would have to leave Royal Lodge in Windsor, she was said to be searching for a new place to call home. While that was expected to be somewhere near Windsor, she has not yet relocated. Only she was getting money from others. She's going to have to find rent money. Right now, she's luxury crowd surfing. with her rich mates. I wonder if she plans to come back to the UK when Eugenia gives birth. There was another report in The Sun. They had a slightly different exclusive. They said that this McNally guy let Sarah borrow at least one of his European properties. Must be nice. Also, apparently this guy died leaving 600 million. And there's talk of potentially him letting her let one of letting Fergie use one of his properties. Now, even though Fergie went on to marry Andrew, apparently they stayed close for about 40 years. Sarah calling him a father figure. And apparently in his final days, he gave Fergie refuge at his $15 million Swiss chalet after she was evicted from Royal Lodge. And they're saying that Paddy always looked after Sarah, and at times over the past 4 decades, she needed a lot of looking after. He never abandoned her in life, and even in his final days, allowed her safe sanctuary at his home. Fascinating. So the Sun seems to think that they've located Sarah at one of McNally's properties. Now, is she still there? Will she inherit anything from this guy? Or will she run to another borough property now that McNally has passed? Does she want to stay relatively close to England for Eugenie's birth? At the moment, we don't know. One thing I will say is I would never have predicted that Sarah would be so darn good at hiding. Just slithering and sneaking around and somehow avoiding the British tabloids. Wendy, you said that Sarah and her husband know too much. I think so too. And Lucy said, did Fergie not big apartments for Kensington for her daughters? What do you mean? Did she not buy the apartments or rent them, or what do you mean? I think for the Kensington apartments, for Kensington Palace, weren't they Grace and Favour homes? I don't think Fergie would have had to pay anything for those. All right, I'm going to do a short podcast and just wrap things up. Folks, I'll be back tomorrow. Just wanted to give a quick update. I do need to get to sleep because it's like way too early in the morning here. My whole sleeping pattern is off. So I need to get some Z's. But we will catch up again tomorrow. Love y'all. Ciao.